In today's podcast, I speak to Anke Vosloo. Anke is the founder of multiple companies, a couple of them being Content Corner as well as Leadloud Marketing. In today's episode, we discuss the role hardships play in your upbringing, the dynamics and intricacies of being a female entrepreneur, how she has made the call to leave her steady 9-to-5 job, the reason she has for starting more than one business, the direction in which social media marketing is going, and a lot more. This podcast is sponsored by Big Pond Mastery of Flipping. This is a course that we have created to teach people how to flip properties the same way we do. In this course, we go through the topics of finding a property, buying it, renovating it, and selling it off again. This course is available on our website, Big Pond Property, and you can just follow the link to courses. Enjoy the episode. Anke Vosloo, welcome to Challenge to Champion. I am really honored to have you here. You are a leading businesswoman, young businesswoman, and I think a lot of young listeners can find a lot out of your story, out of your experience, and out of what you've built. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Leru.
And we have started before and we had some technical errors, so we might move around between the things again. But let me just say that you have started a couple of businesses. So it's not usually the norm for a young woman like yourself to start a business and not even starting a couple of them and just running with that. So how did that happen and how did you get into that?
I love what you're saying due to a woman, and I'm not a feminist at all. But I do believe, and I see it in our friendship groups as well, I think when you get to the ages, especially between like 23 and let's say 33, we have this gap where you either get married or you get engaged or you have a baby. It's like your prime period. And obviously there's a lot of pressure towards what am I choosing for occupation or what am I choosing to do with my life, because it's going to influence my family. It's going to influence my marriage. And at that point where I decided or started to do my own thing and jump into it, I wasn't engaged. It was just me making the decision, but it was based on the influence that it's going to have. I had an amazing job. I worked for a wedding magazine. Really, really loved it. Had the classic 9-to-5, had the safety, had my salary, got a good salary, loved what I was doing, meeting people, traveling on Instagram. It was like the best job. But you obviously just see the good side. And we had the styled shoots that we need to do for the magazine. And at one stage, I traveled through Polokwane. So I stopped at my parents' house and my middle brother was there. You know, my older brother, Ruan, and So the middle one is a very black and white person. I mean, Ruan is like me. We just go, okay? So Heini is a very black and white person. He's a dentist, and he sat down next to me, and he's always the brother that challenges me about my truths or about my why, what I do in my life, etc. And he sat down and he was like, is this it? Like, is this it? Is this what you want to do? Is this how it's going to go? That every time we want to do something, we want to go on holiday or we want to plan something fun, it's first your job, then your family. Your priorities is also just this 9-to-5, chasing the salary, doing this thing for someone else. Is this it? And he read the book Who Moved My Cheese, and it was literally the one conversation that convinced me. If the only difference between having a full-time job and having your own business, the only risk difference is 30 days. Because if I have a salary of 100K per month and I'm so safe and I love what I do, your boss can come in and say, okay, you know what, you are retrenched, or not even in 30 days, but you are fired, you have your month's notice. Or if I have my own business and I get an income of 100K, I can maybe lose it in a day, but am I really going to sacrifice my life for a difference in 29 or 30 days? Yes. So at that point, I think there's a lot of people, and you said it as well, that have a misconception about it's so safe to work for someone. It's so safe to just climb the corporate ladder. And it is safe for 30 days.
Yeah, I think that, and I told you that I come from a small town, Secunda, where we have one big employer, which is Sasol.
Oh, yeah.
And you connect safety to that job. But the fact is, I know a lot of people who have been retrenched without, it's like you say, with 30-day notice.
Yeah.
And then you have nothing. Because you played such a small role in that business. It's not like you can start your own business then and still do what you did just for yourself now. And I think the biggest thing with starting a business is you probably did everything. From setting up the business, admin,
everything.
Finance, marketing, everything. You're literally the last person. So I find a lot of encouragement in the fact that if this fails, I can replicate and do it again in a different field because you have the tools already. You have the experience already.
And I feel for me, a big thing was I'm young. So at that point, I was 25 or 26. And for me, I realized that if it doesn't work, okay, obviously there's always a chance that something doesn't work in anything in life. If it doesn't work, my mom will always say, wat is die ergste ding? What is the absolute worst thing that can happen? I can just get a job.
Yeah.
I can print a little CV.
Job.
I can print a little CV and go back and get a job. So why not try? And
did you ever think about the upside? Was there like a piece of cheese chasing? Because that's the downside if it all goes bad. But the upside is normally a lot bigger.
It's a big upside. I think it's just because, especially between women, okay, it's not a thing that you see often. You see men chasing businesses. We do see women, but if you look at the ratio, I feel it's like maybe 3 to 2 or 1 to 5. So
Why
obviously
is that?
I don't know.
Do you think it's the parental thing about women having a baby and then not being able to pursue it? Because we touched on that earlier. Like my wife was able to set up her business in a way that she could leave the business and the business can continue
to grow.
Like now when she's on maternity leave, her business is still generating money and it will still be there when she gets back.
Yeah. I think for me personally, I had great exposure where my dad has the stable job and my mom is an insane entrepreneur. Like everything in our house, when we grew up, at one stage we lost, when I was grade 7, we lost everything financially. Everything. We needed to move to Pretoria and we just learned the hard way that business can go so well. You can be the richest people in town and within a week, you can be moved to Pretoria with nothing, literally just trusting the Lord to provide and still be okay because family is still first. So that was a big thing for us, to all the kids. If you speak to one of my brothers, it's the first thing is family always comes first. And then I saw my mom continuing to chase because it's so easy to get that setback and say, it didn't work. I'll just do the 9 to 5. I'll just do something that I don't like. But we grew up in a house where she will start something. She'll always do something that she loves. It will be successful. And the vision would be, how many families can I influence? How many families can I help through my business? Great. We've helped 50 love this company. Let's start another one. That's my mom.
That's beautiful.
And I think we were exposed to a woman doing that, where in a lot of families, it's usually the dad taking the risk and not the mother. And there's nothing wrong with it. I don't think it is a gender thing. I think in essence, there's so many men that wants to start something, but they again feel like, I can't because I'm the provider. Yeah, I'm a provider. I need to give the safety. I need to be the one making sure that there's no stress in the family. And they have these big dreams and these great ideas, but they never do it.
But the problem is also as well, it's a fallacy that is so secure and so safe, the male following that career.
It's 30 days.
Yes, so I think we need a reframe of how we think about these things. So do you think like Ruan, who is also a serial entrepreneur, do you think you also got it from your mother?
I think so. I think obviously we get our talents from God, but I think we had great exposure.
Yes.
Great. And we would never be where we are, not one of our kids, if we didn't lose everything at one stage. because we grew up having everything. And when that happened, you would also hear Ruan saying a lot, everything in life is about how bad do you want it. You don't need the degree. You don't need the experience. You don't need the best mics and crazy camera. You don't. Everything in life is how bad do you want it. So being exposed to losing everything and seeing our parents starting at the bottom, building this empire, losing everything, again starting at the bottom, again building the empire with the same attitude, was definitely influenced to say, okay, we can do it. We definitely can do it.
Do you think you would have followed the same steps in your journey if not for that hardship when you were in grade 7, you said?
Mm-mm.
So that hardship played a really big role.
Very. I think it's one day if I walk into heaven, I think one of the first 5 things I'll be thankful for is losing everything at one stage. And even when we went to university, like my parents 100% could afford to pay for our studies and to give us the best cars and to give us a apartment or whatever in Menlo Park. And they chose to say, you know what, you need to feel how it feels to work for something, to deserve something. So me, Ruan, Heini studied, but we worked all the time. I mean, I started working at Breitgoed's magazine when I was 20. So by the time everyone was done with their studies, I was a year away from being sub-editor. Ruan sold his car, drove taxi, and just started a business in the garage. Going to Varsity College, jogging with his little tassie, going to work, thriving, starting a business. Everything in life is about how bad you want it. Are you going to do your studies, sit and wait the 4 years, enjoy it, go out, keir, and then get your little degree?
Then what?
You have your little paper.
Yeah.
So even now, the people who comes to leadloud, and we have a lot of interviews, so a lot of young girls they want to work there. They see the culture. They want to be part of the culture. So there's not one person currently working for me that I know what degree they have.
You don't really care. You're just looking at the
person. I really
person.
don't care. I look at the person, and the questions in an interview would be, what do you want in life? How bad do you want it? I don't care if you know Excel. Are you willing to learn Excel? I don't care if you love making content or if you can make content. Are you willing to learn and do 15 Udemy courses, work late nights, dream, push yourself? That's the guy or the girl that I'm going to employ. Not the one with the open windows paper. Doesn't mean anything.
I spoke to Petrus from Plato last week.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of the same points that you're mentioning, especially when appointing people. Because you're building your team.
Yeah.
And of course, you said you wanna build a business that you're able to step out of for at least 2 weeks or 10 days. And
that's a good point. The difference between the self-employed and a business owner.
Yes, we can go into that.
Yeah, I love it. So for me, and you see it a lot. I even have a lot of girlfriends with their own companies, but that's self-employed. And then I have friends that's a business owner. So for me, and it probably sounds horrible, but I'm not scared to say it. My vision is I want a life where I can be a full-time mom, can be there for my kids, can be there for my husband, wake up, have my coffee, go and do my nails, go on holiday, travel, see the world. If I want to go and color my hair at 11 o'clock in the morning, I want to do it. Okay. So for me, my business can't be dependent on just me. So starting from the bottom in the beginning, obviously you're going to do everything like you said. I was the one sitting with my laptop in the lounge. Then I appointed Sasha. She really started the business with me, Sasha and Ruan, which were 2 students.
Is this now on leadloud?
With leadloud, yeah. Sitting in my little, I was staying in a townhouse. We were 3 people, so I need to chat to my flatmate saying, is it okay if there's like 2 people here every day? We're just going to sit and work. We have 2 clients, make coffee, friends on the TV, and we started. And now the business is a year and 5 months old, and we are a team of 12. We have an office, we have a studio, but we started in the lounge doing everything. But from there, everything I did was, okay, cool. I'm going to be the one making the ads. I'm going to be the one making the strategy, getting the clients. I'm the rep. I'm doing the finances. But what way am I using, or what I want to say, structure am I building that someone else can use, but I can still see and oversee and understand what's going on. So I need to build this business structure that's not going to need me. Because yes, for 6 months or a year, I'm going to put everything in. I'll make the ads. I'll make the stories.
And building the structure.
I'm going to build it, but I don't want to do it. I want to be the mommy, coloring my hair, having fun, traveling. So starting from the bottom, doing it myself, and then, which is a very difficult thing, you'll know you have your own business, is to be able to hand over.
Yes.
And it's very, very difficult because this is your only income. This is your risk. This is the thing that I'm building. And you know what? I can't do everything. I can't service all the clients. I can't make the coffee and do this and do the finances and do the shoots. I need to be able to trust people around me. And for me, I didn't have a lot of, I wouldn't say strong girlfriend relationships when I grew up. I had amazing friendships, but there was a lot of, girls in schools. Just, grew up with brothers where there's no admin. If you want to say something, you say it, and there's no tears. You just go on. So for me, going into a business working with just women was quite a
learning curve.
Okay. Be sensitive, or are there going to be fights? But then to get to a point where I needed to say, let go and let God, that God, I trust you, that you said I must appoint this person, so I'll be willing to trust them with my baby, with my business. Because if I continue to do everything by myself, I'm never going to grow. And I think at that point, it's where I could say, let's start appointing more girls, more people, a manager, someone doing my finances, that we can grow and I can step out. But it takes time.
I think a lot of people struggle with that aspect, especially the pivot between where you are the last line of defense, where you literally catching everything, and having the cash flow to be able to appoint people in positions that lighten the load so that you can take on more business.
It does, but I think that's why and where you don't just start one company. Yeah. So I was pressured into, I can't just do leadloud. Okay, because I'm going to start appointing people. So I started to take a salary out of leadloud, I think 9 months or 10 months into the business. So it wasn't starting the business to get a salary. Again, that's a mind shift. I'm starting the business that the business can go on without me and that I can have a passive income eventually. So it's not starting at, we have a new client. Okay, cool. I'm going to take 10,000 for myself. I'm going to take 2,000. I didn't take anything. Even now, I can open my books. I get the smallest salary of all the people because I'm building the business. I'm not building myself for now. But that forced me, okay, cool, Anke, you still want the nice lifestyle. Okay, honey, you need to start something else.
So how did you do that? How were you able to cash flow your lifestyle while putting the money back into the business?
So when I realized, okay, I want to move my cheese, I'm going to chase the cheese, that fire conversation, I went back to my job and I resigned. And I gave a 3 months notice. Okay, I had quite a high position and I needed to finish expos and whatever. So in that 3 months, I was like, okay, I need to start saving. So I think if you have a full-time job, to always put money aside for, should I get fired or should I want to stay? Should I want to create something?
Buffer.
Yeah, create a buffer. So I had a buffer and I was safe to not have income for 3 months. So then I decided, leadloud wasn't the plan when I left at the magazine. I was like, I'm going to be a full-time real estate agent. So I became a real estate agent and just worked my ass off. So for the first 6 months, I sold 10 properties. But I've done that using Instagram and Facebook. So then I realized, okay, cool, social media is really, like, it's a thing. This is working. Yeah. So through the commission for the real estate, I had money to start leadloud. And again, it depends on what kind of business you start, but there wasn't a lot of cash needed to fund the company. I needed to buy a laptop, I needed to have a camera, I need to be able to pay a salary when someone started to help me, and the programs was the most expensive thing. So I was like, okay, cool, let's do it, let's try. Did that, and even now with leadloud, so leadloud grew, the real estate got a bit quieter. Then I said, okay, cool, I don't want just this to be a passive income, because let's say lockdown comes and no one can pay me. What is my second mandjie met eiertjies? And we opened a studio. And I think that's the great thing about entrepreneurship is when you are so like pushed down to the bottom, scared because, oh my word, what if I'm not able to pay salaries? What if I'm not able to pay my car? You are so pressured into thinking out something else, starting something else. And that's where you see entrepreneurship is business on business on business on business. It's not because it's just fun and they like it. It's because they have to.
Yeah. We also, a lot of the time, when we start a business, we sorting out a problem for ourselves.
Or for the other business. It's solving a problem for the other one now.
Yes. That's what I mean. Like for instance, this office space that we have, that we made into a business, Big X, we actually needed office space ourselves.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, we can either go and pay someone and grow
your own
their
solution.
business, or we can be the solution and have a business from it and rent out space. And I think that's the same that you did with Content Corner, where you saw, listen, we need a space to do photography and to do shoots. So probably the other people that are also doing this also needs that, and we can supply that.
My poor husband. Just Leafy, we need a studio now. But he's so supportive. And I think what's amazing, especially we got married last year September, so it's 10 months now. So being a newly married couple, me leaving my job, going full-time entrepreneur, he has his very corporate job, and then buying a house, renovating, learning from you, and starting the new businesses. I think, again, just in marriage, having someone that really backs you, saying that, you know what, let's take this risk, it's fine. And it's so cool for me to see with him, when we started the studio, he was like, okay, but this is now our baby. Okay, so he like funded the renovations for the studio. And he's like, okay, honey, I trust you. What are we going to do? And also seeing him realizing that everything is not just the corporate ladder or just the safety, how fun, exciting, and scary but rewarding entrepreneurship can be. Seeing him lighting up, saying, okay, we're gonna try this.
Yeah, and it's something that you're doing together. It's an endeavor that you're in together.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's difficult if you don't have someone who backs your crazy ideas. I mean, he's an engineer. He puts everything on Excel, and I will pitch with like a sticky note and an idea. You can ask my team, and I'll be like, okay, we're gonna do this. Yeah, we go. Yeah. And he's like, Anke, you need to make the numbers. Yeah, he gaat ons.
But it probably balances out nicely.
No, definitely.
He also needs like a lenient creative side. you balance out. And
like, I need him to sit down and say, what a cool idea, and it looks amazing, but let's see if it's actually making the money.
He needs to break it down.
Yeah, and he does. He's amazing.
Oh, that's beautiful to see that.
Marry an engineer. That's like... It's a good step.
Marrying the right partner is such an important aspect of life, right?
Very.
How do you manage to marry? Because I know I married the right person, and I don't think that I knew that when I married her.
That she's the right one.
I thought that, but I realized it going through hardships.
It's not easy. I mean, as I say, we've been married for 10 months and went through. I think that most people go through maybe in 5 years' time. I mean, renovating, my word.
Renovating while living on the property. That is a extra.
Building a new business. I mean, we were 9 girls staying in the garage because we didn't have an office, because we were building an office. With my husband working from home, with a new puppy, with 8 builders, constructors, also living on the property. Newly married, no privacy. And hardships, definitely, but I do feel that we had so many nights or coffees or dinners sitting down saying that even all of this is going on. This is hard. Like, this is next level stress. We are stressing about finances. We are stressing about each other. We don't know anything about construction. You know how the fights go. But we're going to choose each other above that. And we made something I can show you on my phone. Very stupid, but I think it's something that saves our marriage a lot. Is before we do a project to decide how we're going to handle it. So we had this WhatsApp group where all the building notes are going to be on. Like, when I see nice tiles, I take a photo and send it on the group. And in the group description, we wrote like vows for the season, because I feel you have your wedding vows, which is amazing, but you don't know what life is going to throw at you. It's very easy to at the altar say, I promise I'm going to be a good mother. You don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to get babies. So in the group description, we would write vows towards the building project, saying that the building will always like end at 6. I promise I will choose you above the budget. I promise that I will respect you if you say no, no matter how much I want that light. If it's not in the budget, I'll submit to you. And to have vows towards every season, and not just to stick to, well, this is what I said on the wedding day, so this is it.
Yeah, you should have something relevant to what you are currently busy with, what stage you are in your marriage.
And I think for us, it's something that let's say we get pregnant, to sit down and say, let's write parenthood vows. Because on the wedding day, I vowed to forgive you, and you give these promises, but you don't know at all what's coming for you.
Yeah, and you want to make it more specific.
Yeah.
I really like that tip that you gave there. I think we should do that as well. How do you balance between being an agent at Keller Williams, leadloud, and Content Corner? How do you balance, firstly, your relationship with your husband, and then just social life, family life, all of those things? How are you able to create a synergy between them?
I think it's something that I definitely learned from my mother. So we were 3 kids, very busy, but we had this huge white, like those writing boards between the rooms with like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, with all these blocks and time slots. Ruan is playing rugby, Heine's playing this, Anke's playing this, we need to study, your homework needs to be done, give in your phone at 7. Like a very structured, I don't know.
Like a schedule.
Yeah, very tight schedule.
Yeah.
And obviously as a kid, sometimes it's so frustrating, but growing up, even at Keller Williams, they teach it a lot, but everything is about time blocking. So if I don't plan that I'm going to pray for 30 minutes before I start my day, you're going to end up seeing, oh my word, it's almost 8. Quickly pray and then start your day. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen so efficiently. So for me, my diary is something I think a lot of people pass out when they see it, but I have my diary, and if something is not in it, everyone in my life knows it doesn't happen, because you need to time block. So if I time block in my week, I have lunch with my friends a lot. I mean, we're going away again this weekend. We go away a lot. I still do my work no matter where I am. But after 6 at night, if I touch my laptop, my husband will close it and put it away. Because your business isn't a 24/7 thing. Family is a 24/7 thing. Knowing the difference between what is urgent and what is important was a very big lesson in my life. That yes, something can be very important that needs to be done, but it's not urgent. But also to, even in a family setting, identify, I know I'm with family now and this is a holiday, but this is urgent. So to identify the difference between the two, and time blocking. Put in the date night. Like put in we are not going to be on our phones, we are not going to watch TV. On Monday nights, me and my husband sat down and prank called people. Like grade 7s. We literally just had fun, made food together, sat down, and it was just us. Monday morning, I had breakfast with my sister. It's just put it in the time block, do it fully for that hour, leave and start your day.
I think that's really valuable to schedule informal things.
You have to.
It's like the unmeasurables, and that is something that falls through the cracks, and then you have to try and fix it up later. While if you handle it with the same amount of respect, the relationships, the marriage, together with all those things, it can work.
And I think especially if you start a new, not job, but if you start a new business, you tend to obviously prioritize it a lot because you need to build this baby. But if I don't put in that lunchtime with a friend, or that date night with my husband, or the taking 20 minutes, or for me, instance, on a Sunday, I love to take a very long bath, and in the bathtub, I would go through my diary for the week. I would write down what I want to do in the week, and I would type my WhatsApp so long. So I try to be very strict on boundaries with work. So on a Sunday, I'm like, I need to ask her this. She needs to do this. We need to get that from that client. I need to follow up on this listing. And then, so I would type all my WhatsApps in my to-do group that I don't bother other people. Because just because I plan on a Sunday doesn't mean you need to work on a Sunday. And I'll have everything ready that by Monday at 6 o'clock in the morning, I just forward the WhatsApps. But I know I need that Sunday hour, because after that hour, I can sit down with Quibus, my husband, and I don't think about work.
Everything's out of your mind.
I don't think about work.
Yes.
I don't think about, oh, I need to do this. Silently going on my phone, typing for someone. He gets mad. There's no boundaries. He knows, give her that hour, and afterwards, she's totally mine. But if I don't book in the, I need to do this hour, that I can be with him for 3 hours, that is just all going to be mushed together, and you're going to have your husband saying everything is about your job, everything is about your work, it's never about me.
Yeah, damage control then on that side.
Or a friend phoning you saying, let's go for a beer. Oh, I can't have so many meetings. Say yes, of course. Fridays between 2 and 4 I always have open. That's my like a pub lunchtime.
Yeah, I've started reading a book about halfway through, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, very good book.
And they go into that whole scheduling thing on urgent, not urgent, important, not important. And I struggle to really categorize that, because I end up with everything being important and urgent. And that is not actually the case, but we are so hurried, so rushed. This needs to be done. And you probably need to ask yourself the question, well, what happens if it doesn't get done?
But that's what I say, that's my mom. Wat is die ergste ding? She would take me so far sometimes that I would be so stressed about something, and she'd say, okay, but what is the worst thing that can happen? And I'm like, I don't know, Mom, I can lose the client. And she's like, and then what is the worst thing that can happen? And then I'm like, I don't know, I'm not going to be able to pay for my car. And then she's like, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm like, I'm going to lose my car. What's the worst thing that can happen? Until I get to death. And then she's like, so is that bad? Because you're going to Jesus. It's always the same thing. So I know it's a losing battle to talk to her, but it's such a good thing to realize in your life that, yes, this is urgent. Let's say something happens at a project. The roof falls in. Oh, that's so horrible. What's the worst thing that can happen? You can lose everything. You can be so hungry. You die. You go to heaven.
And
So
that
honestly,
is
what's
that
that
is
bad?
also so exaggerated that you realize, okay, all
Oh.
of these things are probably not going to happen.
It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And my husband, I think a great tip that I learned from him is he always says, if it takes less than a minute, do it immediately. That there's a lot of things that we tend to put on a list, and I still do it sometimes, but follow up with Susie.
You could have just followed up with Susie. Yeah.
So we tend to get all these lists of things that I need to do. Type the WhatsApp so long. If it's late at night, put it in your to-do list and just forward it the next morning. But if it takes less than a minute, do it immediately. And if it takes more than a minute, really identify, is it urgent or is it important? And what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah.
Especially with your own business. I think there's a lot of things, and I know you will know, it's like, we need to sort this out now. Like this is a very big internal issue. And at the end, no one knew.
Yeah.
Everyone is fine. It's not that big of a deal.
It's like
Just chill.
when arranging your marriage, setting everything out. No one even knew what it was gonna be, so no one knows about the flops that happen.
It's
and
like
this
a
is
wedding
the same.
day.
Yes, it's the same in business.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me that conversation that you had with Heinrich. Now he's a dentist.
Can I just brag a bit with this guy?
Yes.
Okay, so again, he went to study medicine. Anke and Ruan does the crazy things, okay? He went to study medicine or dentistry, whatever. He wasn't even a dentist for like a year and a half, and now he owns his own practice in Klerksdorp.
Really impressive.
So got the ball from life where they didn't plan at all to move to Klerksdorp. His wife got placed there with her. She's also a doctor, what Zuma here or internia. And again, how bad do I want it? So am I just gonna sit there, be little Jannie Jammergat and just work for someone? Or am I gonna go in, start something, and then buy out the Wimmy? And he did. He literally, the practice became his yesterday, so it's his dentistry now. His wife bought a post office. again, having the brain of what more can we do? Great. Next to the building, there's a post office. Who pays the post office? The government. Great. There's rent coming in. How long do they pay? Like 5 years in advance. Perfect. Let's buy it. Is it risk? 100%. Cool. Let's buy a house.
I wanted to ask you about the urge that you might have had when he told you, is this it? Were you urged to just throw it back at him and reflect on him and saying, well, you're just a dentist. Is this now it for you?
He was still studying. So he was like I can say anything, I was still studying Booty. But again, he was studying while working. So while being studying to be a dentist, he was already working at a dentistry to learn not just the medical side, but the business side.
But I think it's great that you were able to take that insight from him without trying to reflect it if it's valid or not. I think
but
that's
you do
how
reflect, and I think there's a lot of, that saying that says offense is taken and not given is, I feel, one of the truest statements ever, that should someone say something, let's say you listen to this podcast and you're like, okay, Anke, but my situation isn't the same, or I don't have a 3-month buffer, I don't have an idea, whatever. It's so easy to take offense, where as soon as you listen to a conversation and that offense is taken, it means that somewhere in your heart, you know something is not like it. So if I take a lot of offense with my brother saying, is this it? If I was really convinced that yes, it is, and I love it, and I want to do this forever, I would, with the most self-confidence, say yes, and I love it, and I'll be motivated about it, and I would be able to stand on a podium and say, this is it. But I took offense because I couldn't.
Yeah, and he probably knew you well enough to know
that
we are
you're not fulfilled family. Very.
But
we can challenge each other a lot.
But you're all high performers.
But again, we felt what it was like to have nothing. And not even nothing. I think there's a lot of people that goes through way worse things. It's definitely not the worst that could have happened. And we still have both our parents. They are still married. We are all healthy. But it's like you say, and the word says it as well, that the hardships in your life, that Jeremiah 29 verse 11, that the Lord will use everything for your good. He has a plan for your life. So no matter what you go through, no matter what you choose, if you choose your 9 to 5, or if you choose to start your own business, He has a plan for your life, and it's going to be good.
I've had so many chats with people in this room where most of them have been through something. And the fact is, if that hasn't worked for the better, it hasn't worked for the better yet. It has the potential. And I've had so many conversations where if that terrible thing didn't happen, this amazing thing would never have happened. And I'm also in that same boat. I don't think you would find me saying that I'm happy about my accident. But it definitely changed me a lot. And the people who know me very well would say the same thing. It has given me a total different perspective. And it would be so great if someone could have that perspective change without going through something terrible. But
that's not life.
And it doesn't happen that way. Because
we're comfortable.
I've had so many chances to learn from someone else's mistakes or to learn from their story. But that never happens. You need that something drastic to happen. And that is the beauty of it. And yes, there's this short video of Jocko Willink. I don't know if you know Jocko Willink. He's like a military guy turned business guy, motivational, everything. And he has this video where he talks about a younger guy coming to him in the military, telling him this terrible thing happened. This guy broke the vehicle and now they can't do this. And he just always replies by good. And he says, what are we going to do about it? This is an opportunity. You know, having that mindset and that strong mindset. And I don't think you can always just fall to that response,
it's
good. But the fact is, whatever has happened already. this is now the potential for your response. What's your response going to be? How are you going to let your siblings or your children or whoever's looking at you, what are you going to teach them from your response?
But I think in business, and it's so great for me in the digital marketing, community, is that when I started leadloud, I thought like everything is so competitive. Like you're not going to talk to the marketing zoo or be influenced or V8 or whatever, because like everyone does their own thing. And I had this conversation I think I had leadloud for like 3 months or 4 months. Ilse from Marketing Zoo, also an amazing marketing agency. And I chatted in Woolies. I was doing my shopping, caught her there. Hello, I'm such a fan, love Marketing Zoo. And the one thing she said to me was to go far and to really make this thing work, you're going to need other marketing agencies. I was like, okay, cool, don't really understand. And just had this short conversation on let my mistakes like teach you to not make them, exactly like you said now, that we do have that opportunity. But as a business owner, to be willing to, when I hear someone wants to start a marketing agency, to do the phone call to say, okay, use this program, use this, don't do that. Don't make your packages 200 Rand a month, make it 2,000 Rand a month. And to give the lessons that you've learned to other people, because I do believe due to us being open to helping other agencies, we've received so much help from bigger agencies that opened many doors for us. Many, many, many. And to never, when starting the business or doing anything in your work life, even as a business owner or as a leader in your own company, to say, you know what, this is my knowledge and this is my tip.
Do you think it's because of your abundance mindset? Because I think a lot of people would react that way and keep the tricks of the trade to themselves because they are scared that if someone else gets this information, they will beat you.
I think it's the mind shift of, especially in marketing, there's always enough business, but also in real estate, there's enough houses. Also in Content Corner, there's enough studios. There's enough people who want content. Do
you think it's people being threatened that they don't want to
Definitely,
do that?
And I think it's a tool that the devil uses to let you stop growing. You're not supposed to be threatened. And I think it's also about your whys. If you start a company, for Ruan, if you ask him, if UB Leisure never makes a cent again, will you still do it? He will say yes. If you ask Heine, if you never ever get paid to do someone's teeth again, will you do it? He'll say yes. If you ask me while building, we made what's a verlies?
A loss.
Oh my word. We made a loss for like 4 months, like big ones.
Yeah, because you're putting that on the back burner to get this thing done.
Everything. I would go to builders, buy a toilet and a basin and be like, okay, this is it. Pray for the salaries at the end of the month. Literally wait until the 7th to pay the pay as you earn, because I need to like get money together to pay it. And even when we made a loss, I will get up in the morning and say, and you can ask him, I'll tell my husband, I can't wait to do this today. I love it. I love helping people, putting their companies out there. I know that they need us. I know that the older guy with this great marketing, with this great motor business, he doesn't even have TikTok login details, but he sells cars on TikTok. And if you start a company and you do your job not for the money, I think it's difficult to be threatened, because what can you really take away from me?
Yeah.
I can give you all my secrets. You can't take anything from me. You can't take away the love that I have for doing what I'm doing and helping people. Even if you take all my clients, I can help someone else. So I'm not threatened.
What is your why?
With what? Which one?
Well, there should be a bit of a correspondence.
Cohesive one.
Yes, between the bunch.
I think definitely helping people. In real estate, it's helping them, I would always say, shift seasons. Someone always moves because there's something big that happens in their lives. You're getting pregnant, getting divorced, someone died, got married. There's a change, and it's a big life choice, so helping someone to make the choice. In leadloud, which is absolutely my favorite, I feel a lot of people have amazing business ideas and they have amazing companies, but they're not creative enough to put it out there for people to see. So it's, I don't know, I love it. It's like the privilege to go onto the stage for someone and tell everyone about what they're doing. I love it. So you have these companies at the back saying, Anke, we have a new cake recipe. And I'm like, okay, we'll tell the world. Here we go. We'll make a post. We'll do the video. We'll say it on a podcast. We'll tell the world for you. It's proclaiming and telling someone else's story.
I can see the excitement that you get from it.
Man, I love it. I love it so much and having people, and we have amazing clients. We really have amazing clients. I sat down with one of them. She had a horrible situation internally where someone left, took a lot of her business. So she almost closed her business due to this whole situation. And we went to drink coffee and sat down. And again, I could share previous situations in my life where I could testify that it's going to work out. Sat down, had coffee, prayed together. And it wasn't about, are you going to be able to pay your monthly retainer? It's not about the money. It's about, okay, cool, there's doors closing. Let's pray together and ask the Lord, what can we do marketing-wise to fix this and to be able for you to pay your salaries? It's not about the followers. It's not about being the coolest brand. It's about changing lives. It's about growing your business, that you can pay your manager and your receptionist and your whoever more money, that they can grow, that their kids can go and study. It's adding that value. No, we love it. When every single morning we open with prayer at the office, and it'll always be like, who am I going to help today? How am I going to take your challenge and change it to a creative? That's what we do. And Content Corner is just, I love making things pretty.
And Content Corner in that business, it's the way I see it, it's basically real estate. You're renting out space for people to create. Do you also give creative advice? You give photographers?
It's very new. So obviously we have photographers in the team. For me, the business why I started Content Corner is it's a very easy passive income business, meaning I'm going to have a lockbox with a key and you're going to get your invoice, you're going to pay, you're going to open it up and you're going to close it. But for now, who's the one mopping 4 times a day? I can tell you a floor whiz is a pretty thing. It doesn't work. You need that old mopper met die hare mopping.
The beautiful white box
yes,
probably doesn't stay
beautiful.
white.
But we are the ones now, Karen, asking, can we make you coffee? Because we need to be the best studio, so let's give coffee for free. I mean, last Saturday we had plans. My husband went to play golf. We had 4 shoots. So I was sitting, going down every hour saying, hello, gaan dit? Coffee, mop. Look, half an hour later open up, hello, gaan dit? Mop. It's me now. It's the team, but eventually the plan would be have a lockbox, have one of those electrical things that clean, to have a passive income. But again, this one is starting from the bottom.
And they don't start themselves. You need a big pushing force to get these things going.
But it's marketing, and we know how to do it.
Of course. Why do you think influencers has become such a big market? I mean, there's people that just showcase products and people trust them to learn from their experience or to see how they experience something, and now they will go do it because of that.
So my first statement that I want to make is something very close to my heart, is that I feel if we would handle the word of God or Jesus like we listen to a lot of influencers, I think the world would have been an amazing space. And I wish that I know influencer marketing works. For me, it's a very heartbreaking thing to see. Because we listen to half a sentence to a 30-second video and we base our life choices on it. So for me, with Christianity-wise, it's a difficult thing for me to understand. With our clients, we would always challenge the business owner to be the one telling the story on the video. We are very personal with our marketing. I want you as the business owner, if you can talk English or not, you are going to tell the story because it's your heart. I want the worker that actually does the tires to do a video on this is why I love my job. To be so transparent about what's going on in a company. Where influencer marketing is definitely an influx of, it's like doing a boosted ad or a campaign. It's a lot of people seeing it immediately. But I think you need to be so very sensitive as a business to not just use an influencer for exposure, but to really do it with the person that I'm using for this influencing campaign. Is her values the same as mine? If I'm putting her on a jet ski, does she actually have a license and love going out on water? And if she says, this is the best jet ski ever, is it truth?
Can you trust her?
Yeah. Because marketing can easily be very fake and very misleading. And but it's a big thing in our company.
And it comes across.
You can see it.
While looking at it, you can see, of course, he or she is paid.
Definitely.
They're paid to say this.
And again, there's space for it if it's truth. So if I'm a firm believer of Lamel Skincare. I use their products. I love it. So for me to make a video, and even if they give me the Lamel for free, it's going to be transparent. But you can see the difference. And I think especially if you have a good relationship with the Lord and you have the spirit of discernment, man, it's difficult to watch those videos. Because everything in your heart is like, this isn't true.
Yeah.
This isn't true. But I don't think influencer marketing is a great thing. I do think, however, I don't think it's going to last for more than 3 years. But you can see that with every marketing initiative. I mean, many years ago, expos were a very big thing. Like to go to these function halls and everyone getting together, then everything moved online. Now it's influencer marketing. So they call it fads in fashion as well. There's a time for anything to be big, but it goes away. And what we try to specialize in is to get your consistent always going. The normal posts, the normal stories, the normal who are we, what are we doing, how are we growing. That needs to be consistent. Then you can do your influencer marketing. You can do your expo, you can do your networking events, you can do whatever, but keep your baseline needs to be consistent and efficient.
Yeah, I think also being honest in the content, because a lot of people, like one of the recent fads in social media is some guys chopping a coconut, the water, you know, but it's difficult to me to look at that because you are almost tricked as a view. But the person is still being creative and trying to give across the message, come to my seminar, you know, something like that. But I don't see the legs in that. I don't see it working long term.
No, I think it's not going to work long term if it's a trend. So trendy video, that video is going to be funny for the next month. If someone goes back on it, it's not going to be funny again by the time someone watches it December. But the algorithm is so good that you're not going to see the video in December.
Yeah.
But and again, if you go back to the foundation, like your website is never going to follow trends.
Yes.
Your logo is never going to follow a trend. That's your baseline.
So the aim of that is basically to get someone just to go to your page and then probably they'll see something else.
It's a hook.
So
for instance, you always educate, entertain, and inspire. That's like the 3 content strategies that we have. So entertain would be cut the coconut, splashing water. Motor Easy is one of our clients. They service cars. When FJ is saying, come and soak, so you sit with water, and then he says, come and soak up the specials at Motor Easy. Okay, so it's trendy, cute, that looks like a nice worm, let me click through. And then the next video that was posted, let's say last week Monday, is when FJ is sitting with a cup of coffee explaining, this is why I started my business.
So it's actually just to get someone to your page. It's not the end all and be all of the company.
No, it's just, it's one leg. It's the entertainment part. And then you need to educate, and then you need to inspire. Inspire would be reviews or clients saying, for instance, with FJ especially, a lot of women, when they service their cars, they feel like they're getting
screwed.
Yeah. Okay. So someone is screwing me over. I just end up paying. So when FJ is known for not screwing them over, you can literally sit next to your car, get a cup of coffee when they service it. And having a woman saying that on a video, not being paid to say it. It's an actual Tani. Her kid is sitting next to
customer.
her. Yeah, it's real and honest content saying, I really like FJ. I always feel safe when I'm here. That's inspire. Educate is FJ saying why he started the company, and entertain is him being thrown with water saying soak up the specials. But again, everything is honest content.
What do you think people are missing when they're trying to grow their business? I'm specifically talking about social media and content-wise.
Yeah.
What is it that people are really missing that if they did it, they would see a lot more success?
To show themselves.
Yeah.
I think, and like influencer marketing, again, it really does work. And for instance, like Be Influenced is an amazing company that works with influencers, and even their clients, and I've spoken to many of their clients, to Mariska and them as well, they see a great return. It does work. It really does work. They specialize in it. We specialize in the, like I said, the organic part of it. And I think as a business owner, to always be open to adapt to the different trends. If influencers are working currently, do your organic marketing, but do use influencers as well. If in 3 months' time it's trending to sing on a story, sing on the story. As a business owner, you are going to be out of your comfort zone. You are. Just keep it true to yourself and keep it true to your brand. Don't just do something because it's trendy and end up lying about your product, or end up giving things to people that's not actually using them and just paying them to say it's amazing. So you can adapt to any trend. Just stay true to yourself and show your face. We can see that in the stats. Literally, we have clients where, obviously, imagine we love car brands, a car dealer, where we go in and say, Wim, sit nicely, and then you tell me the story about the company. And he's like, yeah, you see, ek praat nie op video's nie. Okay, we get that. And then we convince him, he makes this little video, and then we have a trendy walkthrough with a model, whatever video, the second one. The one where the guy sits down and talk gets way more views organically than the video that's staged with someone walking through the car dealership. So at the end, we show them the stats, and then the woman is always like, okay, we can do more. It's fine.
Okay, because he saw the proof of the results. He
saw the numbers, yeah.
Yes.
So I think the biggest thing for us, for companies to learn, is to show your face and to not be scared to be on camera. And to understand the value of social media. I mean, for me, it's always been a big thing with my own social media and with leadloud, everything, is where on earth do you get a chance to speak in front of, let's say, 7,000 people easy a day? Where if you have a great business, use your platform to change lives, tell the stories, share your wisdom, share your ideas, share your products because you believe in it in an honest and true way. Use it. It is valuable. Moersche.
But it's a difficult thing for people to show themselves. It's just
they
probably
hate it.
A self-confidence thing.
And it's new. Remember, especially for the older generation, it's new and it's awkward.
Yeah.
But we love that part. It's where we have one brunette in the team. Everyone is like blondes, pitch 4 blondes, everyone with their phones. Nee man, kom lekker, smile. So I think you get trained to make someone comfortable, to affirm them, saying, wow, that is beautiful. Please share more of your story, to give them the self-confidence to be able to do that videos is definitely a skill. And as soon as a client trusts you, I mean, our clients, we have 12-month retainer contracts with them. So by 3 to 4 months, we are friends with them. So they know I won't tell you to do a stupid dancey if it's not going to work. So they trust us. And I think it's a good space to be in your business. Is I know a client will sit down and say, okay, Anke, I trust you. If you say we need to do this, chop, I'll dance.
Do you ever get like terrible replies or like people saying, listen, you're stupid or you're looking silly at this stage?
Or, yeah.
And how do you deal with that? Don't look at it?
No, I look at it. I just don't really care. I think, again, if you were on stage singing, someone would have screamed boo. It's just a different world currently.
Just building up a bit of a thick skin.
Yeah, and I think for our clients, obviously they don't see it because we delete or either answer the comment for them. I won't let a client know Susan said you are fat. I mean, we just handle it for them. But even on our own videos, we are a lot of girls, so if we do boosted ads, we get men commenting horrible stuff. And
you just don't let it stick.
No.
Yeah.
I know who I am. I think it's, again, if your identity is
But
in Christ, it's...
that is a big thing.
Yeah, it's easier. But also, it's just... I don't know.
I think a lot of people do these videos and things maybe to find out who they are or to get validation for who they think they are.
Yeah.
And that might not work out well.
But I think it's a difference if, like for us, if we do marketing for a business, you don't get confronted with identity stuff. People doing their own marketing, like influencers, 100%. We don't work with influencers that often. Again, for me, because my heart breaks for so many of them. But for a company, I don't think you get stuck with the identity conflict. We do get faced with the self-worth conflict of, I don't feel pretty enough for the video, or I don't know what to say, or my English isn't good enough. It's not necessarily about someone commenting something bad. It's how someone feels about just being on something new. They haven't been on a video. They never talked on a video. But it's outside of their comfort zones. And then you see them grow and they start to like it. And then they'll start sending you videos when they're on the farm like, hi, ons is op die plaas. And I don't know, it's so lovely to see when they grow out of it. Yeah.
They get into it.
Yeah, and again, they grow in truth, sharing what's actually happening in the company. Sharing the actual product, sharing the actual story. It's not a fake thing. Even if we do the content designs, it's like a client has to approve it, but if we know this is a cappuccino, I'm not going to say chai latte is available. Like the whole team is they know it's our hearts. If this was a cappuccino in the cup, we say it's a cappuccino. If I see you typing chai latte,
being honest.
Be honest.
Yes, like on the topic of identity, I've had a big struggle because I feel my identity has changed because I saw myself differently previously. How would you describe yourself if I ask you about Anke's identity?
I think for me, it's very important to... I'm going to share testimony. So when I worked for Bruidsgids, I answered the phone so many times. Anke van Bruidsgids, hello. Anke van Bruidsgids, hello. So when I quit, I really had an identity struggle. Like bad. Because for 5 years, I was Anke van Bruidsgids. I would walk and people would say, oh, there's Anke van Bruidsgids. We would be at an expo. Oh, there's Anke van Bruidsgids. And then I was like, oh, it's Anke. And I went through an amazing and hard season of realizing that it's Anke from God. It can never be Anke from Leadloud, Content Corner, Keller Williams, Anke van Kobus. My identity isn't linked to my husband. It's not linked to my business. It's not linked to anything else but the truth of God, because it's the only consistent thing. And it's difficult because in the world that we live in, even on social media, you are what you post. What do you post? Things that you've done, things that you've seen, things that you've achieved, and not just the Bible verse. So for me and myself, I know my identity is that I'm a loving daughter of Christ. I'm able, I'm capable, I'm trustworthy, I'm creative, I'm hardworking, I'm good enough.
That's beautiful to hear because I can sense that you believe all of those things. And that is not something that just comes natural to everyone.
But again, starting the real estate. Hi, I'm Anke from Keller Williams. Have you sold the property yet, Anke? No. So now you're trying to make something your identity. And because you think it's linked to what you do, if I fail in doing that, my identity is failing. Yes. So then I'm like, okay, cool, let's be Anke from leadloud. Now a client cancels. And in the beginning, Leroux, when a client would cancel, I would go to Kobus, I would cry, I would be so disappointed, it would be the most horrible thing, and I will feel so offended. Because now,
it says something about you and not the business.
But my identity, it's so easy to link it to, you are Anke from leadloud who has 60 clients. Wow, you are successful. If I have one client, 60 or 0, I'm still Anke. And again, not Anke from leadloud, Anke who wants to help people. The why with your business, the The why of your business can be your identity, because the why doesn't change. If I sell 0 houses and I have 0 clients, I still love helping people. Your identity stays the same. So if you can walk or if you sit in a wheelchair, your why doesn't change. Not at all.
Yeah. I think that my identity has shifted because I was confronted with the fact that my identity was connected to the things that I did and how I saw myself. And as soon as I couldn't do those things, then who am I? I see that happening a lot of the times when people change as well. Like they want to be better, and then in their friend groups, they are rejected, because as soon as I know you and we have a friendship and you change, I start second guessing myself, because now I can't connect with this person anymore, because I don't know who he is. So who am I then, because I got my identity from you? And it's a dangerous thing, because nothing is permanent.
But
and
again,
you should evolve.
With social media, and not just influencers, I think, remember, anyone that has, I can say, a valid opinion in your life can be considered an influencer. So if it's not influencer X with 20,000 followers, and it's someone in your office that gives you marriage advice, an influencer is someone that has influence on your life. And I think we tend to link our identities to those influencers if our number one influencer isn't the Word of God or isn't Jesus. So if I struggle with pornography and my first person that I speak to is my mentor, and the first thing that I do is not pray about it, if my mentor changes, I'm going to be like, was that the truth that she said? Am I really through this? Where if it was just based on what the Word said and the victory that I got through the Lord, He's not going to change. So I think it's important to identify in your life, and again, it's linked to every season. In every season in your life, you're going to have different influences in it. But to always just be sure that when you adapt that identity, that the baseline of it is still truth. It's still in the Word. Because people are going to disappoint you. Oh man, they always do.
That's a sure thing.
Your husband, your wife, your friends, your family, clients, they are going to disappoint you. And I think that's something I've learned the hard way beginning of this year. When you build a company, you have this dream, right? And then you appoint people and you give everything to them. Like being a business owner, they get the biggest salaries. We have popcorn at the office. We have a cool office. We do fun things. We go away for a weekend. We go to Savarbar. We have drinks. You try to be this best leader ever. And someone pitches and say, ek bedank, I'm leaving. And you feel like, why? I tried to give you everything. I tried to teach you everything. Isn't this fun? And I really learned the hard way that no one is going to buy into your dream and your business. It's not their baby. It's not their company. So if you put your trust in all the people working for you and put your value in, am I a good enough leader because you don't resign? As soon as someone resigns, you question yourself again. We build a company knowing, I told one of my clients the other day, she went through the exact same thing, and I told her, you put your trust in the people working for you. Your trust isn't in God. I don't need myself or anyone else to build leadloud. It's not my company. It's the Lord's company. So if it fails, not my failure. If it wins, not my win.
Yeah, that should take off a bit of the stress.
A lot of stress. And how can I, again, like me working for the magazine, it's not my company, so don't be neglected or sad or mad when someone leaves your dream. You're not failing. And that again is an identity thing as a business owner, because you feel that when you fail or when you don't make money or if someone resigns or if there's a conflict situation at work, oh man, I'm a horrible leader. Oh man, I shouldn't do this. Oh man, but I'm not creative.
Yeah, and it's probably the opposite. We think about that in a way that we help a lot of people start businesses, and we started with them. And at some stage, they have developed to such a point where they want their own business. And
that's fine.
That was actually successful then, because that person grew.
And if you're wise to help people,
then it was successful.
Then let them go and let them start something.
Yeah. We have the same saying at this office where we call it Big X. And X, you can substitute with any of the names of the tenants. So we know that they are all in a certain stage in their business, and it's not forever. We want them to grow. Be Influenced was here. They were a tenant, and they grew bigger than
their own office.
Yeah, now they have their own bigger space, and that's exactly what we want. And then it was successful.
Yeah, but if that's again your why, jou hoekom is reg.
Yes. Yeah, and that was specifically because we knew people are going to go out, and that is not a failure. Then it's a success.
But I think it's something that, especially with small business owners, it's difficult when a team changes. But I would tell my employees a lot, and like I would say on a monthly basis, I'll tell them, if you want to leave, go. I will never keep you locked in with leadloud. Never. I'm not here to tame you and to get you to commit to make me grow forever. You need to grow.
It needs to be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, like Jessica, she works for us, but she also has a dress company, Petal and Posy. Check in. How's it doing? Are you growing?
Do you need help?
Yeah. Support the people. Karen takes photos. Yuka takes photos. Not, obviously, they can't do a marketing agency as well. You have your trade restraints.
Yeah.
But if they dream with them. My mom would always say, as a business owner and as a leader, you have a very big responsibility that your dream needs to always be bigger than theirs, that their dreams fit like below this umbrella. So if someone dreams to be a content creator in Australia, you need to dream to be a worldwide content creator, that their dream feels safe underneath yours.
Yes.
So you have a responsibility to ask, what is your dream? What do you want to do? Okay, cool.
What's your goals?
Now I need to push myself.
Yeah.
I need to be the biggest safety net for you to take you there. It's a responsibility. It's not just the, I have so many employees.
Yeah, I think that's a good mindset to have. And to be conscious about the fact that they're all living their own dreams and living their own lives. And their fulfillment in life would probably not always be them working for someone.
No.
And I also hope that for most people to be able to be reliant on themselves and manage their own time. Things like that is such a valuable asset when you have it and you can do it correctly.
And it's difficult, I think, I don't know for you, but sometimes in the company, I catch myself feeling very guilty. For instance, they obviously have set working hours. Mondays and Fridays they work from home. I love for them to feel like I have long weekend or I can go away with family. And then they have set working hours and they have a lunch time and whatever, because it's still a business.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you need to have certain structures in place to keep things efficient. But then I would go for lunch for like an hour, and sometimes I'll be like, but they don't get to like just go and have a glass of wine and not go back to work, you know.
But they also don't have the stress of running the business.
Yeah, but then to have that
aspects.
mindset of nothing stops you. And I have a friend, Aries, she has Allogenetics, also a very successful company, that always says like nothing stops them to do it. Like nothing stops you to quit, give your 1 month's notice and to start a company. So I have the stress, I pay the salaries, not me, the Lord gives me the provision, obviously, but I take on all that stress so that I can sleep in, so that I can go on holiday more than your usual leave period. But I don't know, I still feel guilty sometimes.
Different roles, and that's all right.
Yeah, but it's difficult.
It is. And especially when you are determined and focused and goal-driven, it feels like you're not getting anything accomplished. But then just that energy is going into a different bucket.
And I think a lot of people, and you'll know, any business owner watching this will know, There's a lot of stuff that goes into a business that no one ever sees.
Yes.
Like the late Saturday nights on your laptop going through the profit and loss. They're going to see the accountant. They're getting legal advice about something that no one knows is going on because you want to keep them safe, but you're sitting down with lawyers, figuring out a company. The hours of prayer, the fighting the last battle with a client because they don't even want to speak to the employee and they don't even know. Where after 4, when the phone rings, the employees are home. Who answers the phone? You do.
It's different challenges for different roles, and that's all right.
Yeah, it is.
We sign up for that.
But I love it. I'll sign up again. Sign me up for business number 4.
Okay, give the people the links. Where can they find you? The multiple businesses.
Leadloud Marketing is on Instagram. Get everything from there. Content Corner as well. And real estate is on my own page.
Okay.
But again, that's a bit on the ice at the moment.
That's all right. And that's luckily something that you can start up and put down a little bit, start up.
I think a nice thing about that is long term for me when I'm a mommy, I think that's easy to be the main thing as soon as I have the business running on its own. And again, if you want to start a business, I think to be open to start other ones like we need an office, let's get an office space and get someone else to pay the rent. I mean, we are doing exactly the same with our property. Everyone thinks, oh wow, you bought a house.
It's leveraged. Everything.
We have leadloud paying rent, we have Content Corner paying rent, we have our photographers paying rent, we have another studio paying the rent, and we are busy with an apartment. So in essence, we are going to stay for free. So it was a business decision. It wasn't this is a nice house decision.
Yeah, we call that house hacking.
Yes.
And I've done that at my property as well, where I have 2 flats which I rent out. And a lot of people say, yes, I want that house. But they need to know, listen, there's a lot of stress and work attached to that to be able to have that.
Yeah, no, definitely. But they can follow us and support us.
Yes, I'm going to put a link in the description and
cool.
everyone can look at that. And thank you so much for coming by and blessing me with your wisdom. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having the podcast to change lives.
Excellent. I'm going to try.